What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to my YouTube channel, Let's Talk Tottenham. It's been a while, but we're finally back. I usually don't like to do any news about rumors and things like that because things are in flux so much and you never really know who to trust. Obviously, there's maybe a few that you can, but I like to talk about real things that are actually happened or happening when we talk about the news. So today we are going to be talking about some of the transfers that have happened. And I'd also like to talk about the maybe transfer philosophy that I can kind of see has changed under Mourinho versus under Pochettino. So if you're new here, thanks so much for watching. Hit that like button and be sure to subscribe so you can see some of the new videos. I usually do news videos. Sometimes I'll do some watch-alongs. And other times I'll just do little stories that I find interesting and things that are going on with Spurs. So the first thing I want to talk about is the first signing, and that is Pierre-Emile Hojbjerg. I practiced that name to make sure I got it right. But anyway, this guy, what an interview this guy is. Everything he's said so far about his intent, his heart for the club, his passion. He wants 11 leaders on the field. I mean, all of that stuff. I hope he brings that demeanor and that spirit right onto the pitch, and it just helps us take more responsibility, that each player sees their position as part of a whole unit. No one backs down. Remember at the end of last season, we talked about Lloris and Son kind of going at it when Lloris saw Son not really tracking back as hard. And I think Hojbjerg is going to be that voice, or one of the voices and leaders on that pitch, making sure that everyone's up to speed, making sure that nobody backs down, nobody loses heart, nobody gives up. And I love that. He was a captain, and from what we can see, I've got this article here that talks a little bit from Sky Sports, that talks a little bit about his, they call him the progressive box-to-box destroyer. He was first in possessions won in the middle third. I think this is huge. I think this is part of the reason why we see Mourinho going after a guy like this, not only for his leadership, but certainly for this winning back possession and counterattacking. And so, yeah, and to think about this as well, not only did he win possession the most in the middle third, he was first in being able to do that. He didn't play the last 5 games because of his obvious interest in joining Spurs. He was removed from the captaincy and then didn't play from June onward. And so, yeah, what if he had gone the full season, you know? So I think this is a great signing. We already kind of saw him play in an actually a little bit different role than you might have expected him to play during the first preseason match, but that might have been just part of the tactics for that day. So we'll see what happens in the preseason match for tomorrow and as we get the season started. Obviously, the next big signing was Joe Hart. Joe Hart comes with obviously a pedigree. We all know him. He kind of has that giraffe neck, maybe. I don't know. But he certainly has a huge voice. He's kind of, if I'm honest, he's kind of annoys me as a human. In the tunnel, whenever I'd watch the tunnel, just watching him bark and scream just kind of annoys me. But to recognize what he will bring to the locker room, what he will bring to the tunnel, what he will bring to the sidelines, and then if Lloris has any injury problems like he did last year, what he'll bring to the team. The first team. Obviously, he'll bring this to the team at all times, and he said as much in his interview that his job is to be part of this team wherever he's at, if he's on the bench or he's on the pitch. And so I think that's awesome. Obviously, I've said this before in previous videos. You can look up the one that I have about The Last Dance and wanting to have that leadership voice, and I'll put a link to that one here if you want to watch that. But I've said over and over, we lack leadership that calls out people and calls people up to the next level, and I think both Hojbjerg and Joe Hart will do that for our team. And these are fiscally responsible signings. Obviously, Joe Hart came in on a free. His wages, it sounds like, are going to be half as much as Michel Vorm. And then when you think of Hojbjerg, we sent Kyle Walker-Peters the other way to Southampton as we received Hojbjerg. And so, kind of the total being like a $3 million purchase. These are great signings, and I'm really excited for both of them. And then I found an article which I thought was super interesting. This is from goal.com, that there are some who are saying Hart believes that he is better than Lloris. And so this is going to be interesting. I wonder if that mentality is something that Jose Mourinho really wants to bring to this team, that even though you might have that first spot on the team sheet, if you get an injury or something like that, there's somebody on this team that thinks they can take your spot, thinks they can take that place, and just puts that little bit of pressure. I think of even like Gazzaniga and stuff like that. He kind of knew he was the second choice. Michel Vorm was really not going to play as much. And so now it's putting pressure on Gaza. It's putting pressure on Lloris. And when you think of all the different games that are going to be played, this schedule is out of control, especially with the qualifiers for Europa League, all the different cup ties. This is going to be a lot of opportunities for guys like Joe Hart, guys like Gazzaniga to play and show their mettle, to show their worth. And so I'm excited for both of these signings. And now, like I said at the very beginning, I really don't like to talk about rumors, but it sounds like this rumor is going to come to fruition in the next week or so. So I feel pretty confident to talk about it, and I apologize if it doesn't happen, but I just wanted to mention it, which is this talk about Doherty playing in right back, Matt Doherty. And so Alistair Gold tweeted, "The main aim of the transfer is to improve your squad and ideally your starting 11. Doherty does both for Spurs. He's the Premier League's second most creative right back in the past couple of seasons and at a bargain price. He's homegrown, and this is no gamble. He has impressed in the league." And so, yeah, when you look at this, I start to see a trend, at least in the targets. Obviously, if this goes through, you'll start to see a real trend in terms of the three kind of major signings that we've seen that are coming into this first team. Both in the types of players, you start to see lots of leadership, Premier League experience, and two of them will be homegrown. And as I started to think about that, I can't remember, or I couldn't remember under the Pochettino era, when was the last time we had a homegrown player with Premier League experience. Now, so I started to go back. I looked through on transfermarket.us for us, and you start looking. You've got the arrivals in 17 and 18. You had Llorente from Swansea. You had Gazzaniga from Southampton. Both of those, obviously, though, not homegrown. You go down to 16-17. You had Moussa Sissoko from Newcastle and Victor Wanyama from Southampton. But again, those were not homegrown, but they did have Premier League experience. And then 15-16, you have Toby Alderweireld, he was from Atletico Madrid, but by way of Southampton, so he did have Premier League experience. And finally, you get Kieran Trippier from Burnley, who was our first homegrown with Premier League experience. So it's been a while since we've seen a signing like this, and you can tell it's put some pressure on Jose and Daniel Levy to try to get these transfers in a way that is helpful to the team, helpful to the club, but also Europa League, trying to keep those homegrown players, those numbers in the right way. And so I wonder if there was maybe, I don't know if it's the right way to say it, but maybe there was like a transfer idea or philosophy for Pochettino that's different than Jose Mourinho. Whereas what I'm seeing from Jose Mourinho is he's looking for that leader, he's looking for that tenacity, and he's looking for homegrown, more so than what I saw under Poch was he wanted a project when he was looking at the transfer market. So, Poch had all these great signings. Toby Alderweireld's Heung-min Son, even Moussa Sissoko kind of came on, right? Victor Wanyama, unfortunately, with injuries. And he had some duds with Vincent Janssen and stuff like that. But I think, the reality is Poch loved a project. And he loved that motivating factor. And I think creating that kind of a family, fatherly relationship. And you could see that in his leadership and the way that he talked about his players and the way he led from the sidelines. Jose Mourinho's got a different philosophy for sure on the sidelines, and even in his press conferences and things like that, the way he talks about his players and talks about the club is certainly different than what we saw with Pochettino. And so I just wonder, is this a different philosophy? And maybe you can speak to that. I don't really know. But personally, if I'm honest, I really like what I'm seeing. I like the leadership qualities. I like that we're kind of addressing the homegrown issue, especially when you think about, so I saw someone mention on Twitter, that homegrown spot being the non-homegrown spot being used on a goalkeeping position. It's an obvious substitute. We talk about Michel Vorm and Gazaniga. Those are two spots, and now to have another homegrown there, potentially another homegrown in the right back spot, and then the difference again I would say is that it's almost like Pochettino thought the homegrown should only come up through the academy. And that the transfer market was used for those non-homegrown players. And so we'll see what this season brings. I like what I'm seeing so far. It looks like we're going to have maybe even three transfers that are right around or part of that starting 11. And we are, I think, 6 weeks from deadline day. So what's going on? The relationship between Jose Mourinho and Daniel Levy seems to be different than the one that Pochettino had with Daniel Levy. And I know Daniel had said that he had a really friendly relationship with Pochettino, that they were very much friends, and he felt, it was a hard decision to let go of Poch. And I wonder if the All or Nothing documentary will give some insight into that and what that was like. I sure hope so. But I think I remember also that I believe again it was Alistair Gold who reported that Daniel Levy was bringing ideas of players in to Poch, but he, for some reason, either he didn't think they were a project or good enough for his team or whatnot. He's really devoted to his first team. It reminds me of Marcelo Bielsa. I think I'm saying that right. And what his experience was with him and how devoted he is to his players over at Leeds. And so you just wonder if that's kind of a philosophy thing for Mauricio Pochettino. He didn't like the players that were being suggested to him, and we didn't make any signings for so many windows. It was kind of upsetting. But here we are. We're looking forward to a new season. Another preseason game is going to be tomorrow. And I'm really personally looking forward to that All or Nothing documentary. I have not been I haven't read any of these articles like this. I've been avoiding this stuff on Twitter because I'd like to have my own kind of opinion about it. And I've seen some people kind of frustrated with all the spoilers. And even on Twitter, I've seen some spoilers saying it seems to be a little bit of the Jose Mourinho show. And how could it not be? If I'm just kind of thinking about what this team is right now, it is a little bit of the Jose Mourinho show. And, he comes with a pedigree. He comes with a personality. He comes with a strong voice. And to be honest, not many of the Spurs players have that kind of a strong voice. So it would make sense that he would more than enjoy the limelight and take advantage of a couple cameras, a couple microphones, etc. So I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to be watching the first 3 episodes, hopefully right on Monday as they come out on Amazon Prime. And then, I might do some videos about that. Let me know in the comments below if you'd like that or not. Obviously, I'll let you know if there's spoilers and such. But I'm excited to have that little bit of a behind-the-scenes look at our beloved club. So anyway, thanks so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, if you want more of it, please hit that like button. Leave in the comments if there's some articles or things you'd like to see me talk about. It's really helpful for me to get that feedback. And follow me on Twitter. That'd be awesome too. So thanks so much for watching. And as ever, it was great talking with you.